From a national problem to one we've been investigating right here in Arizona. More than 100 active Phoenix police officers on the Brady list. That's more than 1 in 30 officers in the city. The Brady list tracks officers with past lies, crimes, and misconduct that need to be disclosed to defendants. It's a big number, so ABC 15 investigator Dave Biskuping sat down with Phoenix Police Chief Jerry Williams, asking how the chief feels about having that many Brady list officers on her force. But as you're about to see, she didn't directly answer the question. And attorneys say how the chief did respond shows she has, quote, no idea about how the Brady system works.
We sat down with Chief Williams inside the Phoenix Police headquarters. The department gave us 12 minutes, and this was one of the most basic questions we asked.
We found that it was, as of last year, about between 100 and 110 active Phoenix officers were on the Brady list. How do you feel about that?
I feel that that's a process that's been set up to make sure that the Maricopa County Attorney's Office and the prosecutors can engage in asking people questions during the voir dire process. But I also know that there are employees who are on that Brady list from 23 years ago who have literally since turned their lives around. So they made mistakes 23 years ago, yet they're still on the Brady list. And I also know that some of the officers on the Brady list can still testify in court once they go through the actual process.
Instead of directly answering the question, the chief brought up voir dire and a non-existent process in order to testify. To see if we were missing something, we interviewed Armanda Nava, a defense attorney with the Arizona Attorneys for Criminal Justice, and attorney Jared Keenan with ACLU Arizona.
It's quite confusing about what the chief is talking about.
From that answer, it does not seem that she has any clue how Brady works, why it works, and what it's supposed to be for.
Some history about Brady. In 1963, the Supreme Court ruled in the landmark case Brady v. Maryland, police and prosecutors are required to give you all of the evidence, even if it hurts their case, like if the officers involved have been caught lying in the past or has his own criminal record. That information has to be disclosed. That way the defendant, attorneys, the judge, the jury know about the officer's past. Now, as for voir dire, that's one of the most basic parts of a trial, jury selection.
Does voir dire have anything to do with Brady?
No.
I mean, really, when you think about voir dire, when you see it in movies, and it's in plenty of them, it's jury selection. It's making sure that you can get a fair and impartial jury. Right?
Right. That's what it is.
The chief also mentioned the word process twice. The attorneys say there's no process. If the prosecution wants to call the officer to testify, they can and will. Brady just makes sure the defense knows about integrity issues like past lies and crimes.
She's the chief for one of America's most populous cities. Phoenix Police Department is not a small department. It is a major American police department. I mean, should the chief know how the Brady process and testifying for these officers work?
Definitely. It was shocking to read that and honestly kind of chilling to know that she might not understand the process and why it's important. This is a very, very important principle now in our law, has been for decades. And to have somebody who manages a department of this size not understand it should terrify everybody.
Now, back to the interview. The chief said, quote, "I know there are people on the Brady list from 23 years ago. The data shows there are not. The earliest active Brady officer in Phoenix was listed in 1999. A majority, 65, listed in the past 10 years. But none of that fully gets to our original question. So we rephrased it to ask if she was okay with about 1 in 30 of her officers being on the Brady list.
You don't find that concerning?
I always find it concerning when we're talking about integrity issues. What I know is that I'm unafraid to address challenges like that. What I know is when someone brings something to my attention, I've definitely shown that I've been swift. I've definitely shown that I've taken to heart and really looking at our department just kind of like someone looks at themselves in a mirror. So I'm not afraid to address challenges.
I'm investigator Dave Biskuping, ABC 15, Arizona.
Dave's interview with the chief continues tomorrow night. We ask her about reforms and specifically about a Brady list officer kept on the force despite lawsuits, lies, a false arrest, and multiple sex assault allegations.